Hi, good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, May 13th already. Wow, 2025, and it's 8:17 a.m. here in Chicago. So, a tiny bit of boxing talk, but not anything, technical or anything. And then some other rambling. But I just came across a poll here on YouTube. I think it's BDA Boxing, so shout out to whoever that is. BDA Boxing put up a poll. Are you interested in female boxing? So I hit yay because he put like yay or nay. I hit yay, and yay got 39% and nay got 61%. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, I'm not really interested in female boxing. And I know a lot of people are like kind of ashamed to admit it, or they're made to feel like they're not true boxing fans if they admit it. But I thought about it, and I'm like, yeah, I'll watch a good Clarissa Shields fight, or I'll definitely, be Team Clarissa. I'll watch a good Alicia Baumgardner fight, or I'll be Team Alicia. I was looking forward to if Clarissa ever fought Layla Ali, but Layla's definitely too old now. So, because that was like, 5 years ago when they had their beef, whatever. So, there are certain fights I would definitely like to watch. And if there's a lot of like bad blood between the two women, I'll watch it like for that reason. Like the Myers girl versus Alicia Baumgardner, and then Clarissa versus that real smart mouth girl from Ireland. Was she from? Like, that was some good back and forth beef. So I'll watch those fights. But I still don't know if I like female boxing strongly enough to be hitting yay. So I changed it back to nay. And 61% of voters had nay. I think I did name enough female matches that I was interested in to hit yay. But overall, I've never been like super, super excited over a female match. I just haven't. The closest I've come was Clarissa versus Savannah Marshall. That was her name. Clarissa versus Savannah Marshall. Because they had such a good exchange of words. And it's hard to beat Clarissa with a war of words, especially with all of her accomplishments. But that Savannah Marshall girl, she was definitely trying. But Clarissa, because of her accomplishments, she was winning. Savannah was able to say she beat her in the amateurs or wherever it was she beat her. But that's really all she had. Clarissa was naming all of her accolades since then. And she was like perfectly timing her comebacks too. She wasn't throwing them all out at once. She knew when to respond with what. That was exciting to watch. So of course I was excited to see that match. And I always loved Layla Ali. But again, not nearly as much as I enjoy men's boxing. I don't know, it just is what it is. But I do like female boxing. But yeah, I thought about it. I'm like, I don't know if I'm a strong enough female boxing fan to be hitting the yay button. Yeah, and they got 61%. I'm like, let me keep it real like the rest of these 61% people. But enough about that. You guys, this past weekend in Chicago, oh my God, there was a double murder. Well, might be more than that, but the one that made all the headlines. 2 members of O Block, so they were close with like King Von and them. And one of them that got murdered, he was like kind of a big name. Even when I saw him, I was like, oh, okay, I've seen him before. He had drill music of his own. He was in the headlines before, I think, because he had gotten out of jail and he got with like someone's girl who was murdered that he really wasn't supposed to get with according to the bro code. But I don't know how true all of that is. But he was like kind of a big name after King Von. when it comes to O Block. And they came to a club here on the north side. And it's like, people say they were ambushed. They had to be, because they had no idea what was going on outside. And witnesses said there was a guy outside in a ski mask pacing back and forth outside of the club. Now remember, these two O Block members, they weren't no like regular, just, nickel on the corner. These were like kind of big names. They had money and everything. Well, one of them definitely did. And, he's in the club living it up with all of his expensive jewelry on, his O Block chain. Because remember, King Von gave all of those members that O Block chain with the big pendant. And he's just in the club living it up like he doesn't have a gazillion enemies. And, in fairness to him, because he's not here to speak for himself, everyone's saying how it was a dumb move. Well, if you're ambushed, it might not be a dumb move, because it could be you were ambushed by someone you trust. So it sounds like such a dumb thing for him to have done that it had to be an ambush. It had to be. Think about it. First of all, they want to go party. They don't even leave Chicago. You can't just come to the north side. They need to be out in not even Milwaukee, but an unknown city in Wisconsin. Go find a jazz spot out there. There are jazz spots everywhere. Why would you stay in Chicago? So they came to this jazz spot right here on the north side. And again, he's living it up in there. And there's a guy outside of the club in a ski mask, going back and forth, bringing everybody else's attention except his. Oh, he was definitely ambushed and set up. And then people are saying, someone in the club spotted him, made a phone call, whatever. But I still don't understand, even if that was true, even if someone spotted him and made a call, I would think that he would know people in that club are going to recognize him. They're not just known or just recognized on the south side. After he's been all over YouTube, he got to know better than that. He has to. So even if people did see him in the club, and make a phone call, so what? He should have known that. And this dude got a lot of enemies because, he was involved in certain murders. He would clown the death of his rival gang murders, talk shit. That seems to be popular, disrespecting the dead. He wasn't I'm just confused, you guys. I just don't understand. Even if because everybody keeps saying, oh yeah, someone spotted him and made a call. Of course, but that's nothing. He should expect that. He should know that. He should know, okay, people are going to spot me when I get in here. You know what I mean? Even if he went somewhere in Wisconsin or Indiana, that would happen. Maybe even Ohio. These people know who these O Block dudes are because they're all over YouTube. They're all up in DJ Vlad's chair talking to him. Everybody knows who these dudes are. So I don't understand what the big deal is. People are saying how someone in the club made a call that's so underhanded. I mean, he should have expected that. And again, I don't know. He's not here to speak for himself. I just find it so hard to believe that he would leave a club with no protection. None. And he got shot up by probably the one pacing back and forth. And they killed him. They killed his other O Block member partner. And the third dude, they said he got shot, I think, through the back, entered, left his stomach. But at first they thought he would be paralyzed, but he's going to make it. But, so now everybody's saying, Summertime Shy is going to be crazy. And I'm like, oh, great. I really, really wanted to get to a lot of events this summer. I really did. And there's actually an event on the south side. What's today? Today is the 13th. So not this Saturday, but next Saturday. There was an event. My friend had just sent me a flyer for an event on the south side. And it was an outside event, plenty of food. And I was going to go. But now I don't know if I want to go. Because this hit that they put on this dude is pretty big of a hit. And now people are hurt and they want revenge. You know, people are hurt and they want revenge. This one hurt a lot of people. You can tell when you go in the comments. But then when you go in the comments, all the people saying R.I.P. to him, you see people saying, well, R.I.P. to Duck, R.I.P. to Melly, R.I.P. to Taekwon World somebody. So that's their way of saying, well, he did something to us. But they don't even know, like, yet, for 100%, you know, certainty. They don't even know who did it yet. And then now there are even people saying it was within the same gang. So within the, you know, Black Disciples. I don't know. But there's so much going around. But of course, at the end of the day, I don't think they have anyone yet. They might get them. Because they said whoever did it ended up driving the car to the south side near O Block and then setting the car on fire. So who knows? But that was crazy because that was kind of a big deal this weekend. And, you know, I know they did their dirt and I know, you know, people want their karma. But you still feel bad when these kind of things happen. He just had a baby. They said he had converted to Muslim. Look, but people always want to make jokes when someone says he was turning his life around, he gave his life to God. But they really did say he was trying to do better. He had become a Muslim and he just had a baby. So it's I don't know, I feel it's kind of sad, but just because you turned your life around, that doesn't mean all your enemies or these violent Negroes who you pissed them off, that doesn't mean they turned their life around. So that was unfortunate, you know. What else? Oh, so there's this woman on YouTube, right? She does mukbangs. And that's when, you know, she sits at the table with her family and they cook and she tells you everything they cook. And then they eat and they talk about different things. They don't just talk about food. Like, she's pretty religious, so she'll talk about God and things like that. And so it's her and her husband. She's American, Black. Her husband's Jamaican. And then she has 3 children. The boy is the oldest. I'll give him about 14. The little girl is about, I don't know, 6 to 8. And then she got a newborn baby. Now the boy, her oldest boy, that's her stepdad, the Jamaican man. That's her stepdad. I mean that's his stepdad. That's not his biological father, but that's his stepdad. And the 14-year-old. So anyway, let me get to the point and wrap this up. They did a video where it's just the boy and his stepdad at the table. And, you know, you don't know people personally, but you get vibes from people. You can get a vibe from people. The Jamaican man, the father of the house, he just strikes you as somebody who is very nice, would never hurt a child, a very kind man. He strikes you as a very kind person. He doesn't seem like he would have the heart to hurt anyone or anything like that. He seems like a very nice guy. Again, I don't know him, but that's the impression I get of him. So this mukbang is just him and his stepson. Or I don't know if he calls him his son. Him and his son. Just them at the table and they're eating. When I tell you that little boy, who even though he's young, he's about 14, he's old enough to know better. He was so rude in this video. He was so rude. From the very beginning of the video, his body language said everything. He does not like that man. He does not like that man. And he was sitting kind of halfway with his back in, you know, the stepfather's face. And the stepfather is acting pretty oblivious to it. And he's just eating his food. He's trying to be engaging with the son, and he's talking, to us, the people watching. It's the son. Everything the father says, the son is kind of rolling his eyes at him and got his back turned towards him. And that was my very first impression. I said, this little boy needs to be taught better. He's rude because everybody sees what he's doing. So let's say about 6 minutes, 8 minutes into the video, now the boy got his whole back, his entire back to the man. Like, really? You need to be disciplined. That is rude. And he knows what he's doing, you guys. The video is going. He knows people are watching. He got his whole back to that man. And then, get this, he gets up and leaves the video. At this point, it's embarrassing. Like, why would you post that? And, the mother, she comes across as somebody who, got her head on straight and knows so much. She's always defending her family. If you're going to be that sensitive, why would you post something like that? Like that was a real dumb thing to do. And if you are going to do it, don't get offended when people say something, because clearly people said something. So the little boy had his back towards him halfway at the beginning, giving him dirty looks every time he said something, then ended up with his whole back to the man, then got up and left the fucking video, left the man at the table by himself. And the whole thing was rude. And I remember thinking, either don't post them alone together or talk to your son. I don't know. Again, I just get the impression that the father never did anything wrong to that little boy, and the boy just doesn't like him. And sometimes the nicer you are to a child, if you're supposed to be the mother figure or the father figure, sometimes the nicer you are to them, the more they will resent you, because you are a reminder that their real father or their real mother is not in their life. That happens a lot, And it's unfortunate, because that means there's a lot of emotional pain going on with the child. But the nicer you are to them, the more they will resent you. They don't want you. They want their biological father or their biological mother. They don't want you. Stop trying to be a part of their life. They don't want it. That's what's going on in their head, because the pain of them not having, Now, I'm not trying to psychoanalyze this kid. I don't know. I'm just saying it's a possibility. So after seeing how rude that little boy was to his stepdad, I went to the comments. There were hundreds of comments, and I got to be honest, I didn't find one negative comment, not one. But she must have found something. She must have found something, because she decides to make a video and try to cuss everybody else out. Now, I didn't leave a comment, because I ain't commenting on nobody's kid, She makes a video trying to cuss everybody else out, talking about, for your information, he's the only father that, my son ever knew. I can count on one hand how many times he's seen his father, or his father has been in his life. My husband has always been there for him, and that is all probably true. That's probably all true, But what does that have to do with you showing people something and then getting mad when they say something because it was too obvious? It was too obvious. The boy made it too awkward. The boy made it too uncomfortable. People clearly said something, But the way she was saying it, it was like she was defending her husband. So the comments might have had a different position on it than I do. Because on my position, it's the little boy who needs to be taught better. But you could tell by the way she was kind of telling people off, the comments must have thought that it was the stepdad's fault. How was it his fault? He was just trying to engage with the little boy in eating, So I don't see how she could have the audacity to try to check everybody else. But you made a video putting your son in the video with his stepdad, and you saw that video before you posted it. You saw where he had half of his back in your husband's face, and then his full back in your husband's face, rolling his eyes at him, and then getting up and leaving. You saw all of that, lady, before you posted that video. So how dare you come and make a video clapping back on a few comments that saw what everybody else saw? Don't post the fucking video, duh. But you just wanted to post a video. You probably wanted the views. You probably wanted the views, and you wanted to clap back. Some people be trying to act like they're so aggravated with negative people, when really that's exactly what they're looking for. Because you can't post something like that and then try to pretend you're shocked by any negative comments. Like, get out of here, lady. You ain't fooling nobody this way. I just saw a man. Oh, my God. You guys, I just saw a man run across the highway. And he made it, too. He made it, too. That was crazy. He got his car parked, like, where if a car breaks down or something. And he literally just ran across the highway. That's funny. But anyway, yeah, like, hello, lady. You got thousands and thousands. I think she's in the hundreds of thousands of followers. And you probably didn't respond to not one positive comment, but your lame ass gonna go looking for the negative ones. I hate people who do that. I hate people who do that. They don't never recognize hardly even 1%. They might leave a few hearts. They might leave a few hearts under the positive comments just to look like they're engaging, but they're really on there looking for negative comments so that they can go make a video. Go teach your son better manners. That's what you need to do. Go teach your son better manners. His ass was too old to be sitting up there with his back towards your husband, towards his stepfather, you know? And again, I really think that stepfather is not a bad person. He just strikes me as a very kind man who would never hurt a child, who would never say anything, you know, hurtful to a child. That boy just don't like him. That's what that is, you know? But, that's how people get down these days. They want to cuss everybody else out, but they don't want to teach their kid better. But, what else? Did you guys see that woman who, was given the news and then she just passed out and bit the fucking floor? And her co-worker on national TV going to just look down at her and say, oh my, well, someone's coming, oh my. So, you know, I ran to the comments because, like, what the fuck? What do you mean, oh my? Get off your ass and help her. He never budged. So I went to the comments and everybody was saying the same thing. Like, what the fuck? He never budged. I'm wondering if he's able to move. Maybe he needs help to the chair himself. I don't know why I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, but for him to watch a woman or a man just pass out and fall on the floor like that, maybe he's immobile himself and we don't know it because we always see him just sitting at the chair. Maybe he really couldn't do anything. I don't know. Somebody else would know. Somebody else watches him more often. I don't watch the channel, so I only saw that because it went viral. But yeah, she's giving her news, and then she just leans forward and ploop right on the floor. And then the man is like, oh my, oh, well, someone's coming to help her up. Oh, I hope she's okay. And it's like, huh? And so, yeah, I went to the comments. One girl wrote, damn, he just sat there like, clean up in aisle 5. I was like, oh my God, here we go with the jokes. There was some pretty funny comments in there. But, you know, the overall situation, of course, was not funny. But that was crazy. That was crazy. Let me see. What else going on? I guess that's it for now. But have a good day, everyone.